Hörer von Radio Luxemburg. Heute habe ich mal einen ganz besonderen Telefongast für Sie. Einer, der hat eigentlich gar nichts in der Musikhitparade zu suchen. Trotzdem, er ist ein Superstar. Er ist nämlich ein Typ zum Gruseln, zum Fürchten in seinen zahlreichen Dracula-Rollen, die er gespielt hat. Der Christopher Lee. Hello, Mr. Lee.
Yes, good afternoon.
What are you doing in Germany?
I am in Berlin at the moment, and I am what we call in English dubbing. I think in German it's called synchronisieren. My own voice from a film I did in English, and I am dubbing it with my own voice into German. And the film is an animated feature. You know, in the old days they used to call them cartoons. An animated feature. It's a very beautiful film, and in German it's called Das letzte Einhorn.
It waits in silence for the sky to explode. Here I am on man's road, walking man's road.
It is an extraordinary character, the king, the König, because he is a tragic figure, rather like King Lear, and it is a little bit like Shakespeare. But I must explain to you also, as I said earlier, this film is, you would say in German, ein Traum, and also der Glaube, die Hoffnung, die Liebe. It is everything for everybody. It is for all people of all ages.
Farewell, poor haggard. Farewell.
I will not touch you. What are you looking at?
The sea.
Ah, yes. The sea is always good.
Da sind sie. Da sind sie. Sie gehören mir. Mir allein. Da sind sie. Da sind sie. Sie gehören mir. Mir allein.
Okay, so, we shoot. It's loop 920, Unicorn.
29.
Der rote Stier hat sie für mich gefangen, eins nach dem anderen. Und ich habe ihm befohlen, jedes einzelne ins Meer zu... Oh, you see, it's much too slow. This is the problem.
Do you see the difference in the number of words? It's half the number of words.
So, I'll just have to do it very quickly, which may lose a little bit of the sense.
Okay, let us try once more. We'll see if it's...
I'll try it.
Okay.
Ja, fahr bitte nochmal ab.
Der rote Stier hat sie für mich gefangen, eins nach dem anderen, und ich befahl ihm, jedes einzelne ins Meer zu treiben. Komm her. Da sind sie. Da sind sie. Sie gehören mir, mir allein. Der rote Stier hat sie für mich gefangen, eins nach dem anderen, und ich befahl ihm, jedes einzelne ins Meer zu treiben.
I started it in a film in Paris. I was of course living in London in 1947, and I became an actor, and I worked in the theatre, doing everything, sweeping the floor and reading the lines for the actors and everything, and painting the scenery, you know, and all that. I learned the hard way, and it took me 10 years to learn how to act, at least, and you're still learning. One is always still learning.
Ich habe nie geahnt, dass Henry so etwas überhaupt kennt.
Ich habe das Gefühl, dass wir Henry nicht halb so gut kannten, wie wir glaubten. Wo ist Mr. Hyde?
Er erwartet Sie im Zimmer der Senora.
Aha, ich glaube, ich werde erst mal vorgehen und nach dem Rechten sehen. Du wartest hier.
Aber bleib nicht so lange.
If the public enjoys my work and goes to the theatres to see me and to watch me and to listen to me, that is the greatest reward I can have, because that for me is a kind of victory, ein Sieg, in a way, because that is why I do it. I do it because I love doing it, because it is my life's work. But it's much more than work. It is dedication, it is devotion, it is love, and it is being different people, being different characters, working all over the world, working with very clever people, very talented, intelligent, charming, loyal people. And so I love my job, and I'm proud of my job, and I'm proud of the people I work with. But it is not an easy life. It is a very tough life today because the unemployment is very high in America and in Europe. There are not so many films being made. So it is an uncertain life. There is no security. But once you decide to do it, you never want to do anything else. And I have been an actor and a singer for 36 years, 36 Jahre. I sang Italian opera, Russian opera, French opera, German opera, and I sang things that I wasn't really ready to sing, like Wagner. And I sang a little Mozart, and I sang things by Lord Singh and things by Peter Cornelius, der Barbier von Baghdad. Never the whole opera, only one song in concert, and I say Querschnitt. And I sang once, ein Mädchen oder Weibchen wünscht Papa genau sich. Oh, so ein sanftes Träumchen wäre Seligkeit für mich. Something like that, And that was light, and everybody knows that because that was sung by Schikaneder originally when the opera first came out. And then I used to sing other things which are very different, like Hagens Wacht, Hier sitz ich zur Wacht, wahre den Hof, wehre die Halle dem Feind. I mean, that sort of thing, which is very different.
Christopher Lee, noch eine letzte Frage. Wie stark identifizieren Sie sich als Schauspieler mit Ihren Rollen?
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have some good news and bad news. Brayton will be joining us, but the bad news is it won't be for another 20 minutes. So, what I think we're going to do is just a little bit of Q&A while I'll do some artwork. So if you guys have questions or anything, you're more than welcome to come aboard. I will be more than happy to answer them. So let me just readjust some windows here. Okay. There we go. Now I can see you guys, and you can hear me, hopefully. Okay, so give me a moment to alter some screen here. Okay. All right. There we go. And let me loop. There you can see me doing some artwork. And yeah, this will be temporary. So for the next 20 minutes, hopefully, or less, you guys are more than welcome to ask me questions, and I'll give them to you. But we will be watching The Last Unicorn tonight, and hopefully it's nothing major. This is just a small delay. Sunday nights usually get hectic around this time. So there we go. Oh, hold on. I forgot to do the transition. Okay, and it's nice to hear you guys. Laura, long time no see. Always awesome to have you. Doomzilla, it's always good to see you as well. And Goji Shay, good to see you as well. But yeah, Brayton's running late. It should just be another 20 minutes. Everything's set up and ready to go. But yeah, in the meantime, I shall do some artwork, and we will we will wait for that. So yeah, if you guys have any questions, by all means, go ahead and ask them. I'm at your disposal, so to speak. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna be watching The Last Unicorn tonight. Hopefully, like I said, I don't think Brayton's all that excited, but I've had 4 fairly decent reactions from him with movies, so I think we're gonna be okay. I did play an hour's worth of unicorn-related entertainment for the pre-show, but it's not enough. But anyways, same here. Sorry for missing the few streams. It's more than okay. So yeah, guys, if you have questions, go ahead. It's just temporary. Once Brayton comes on board, we will start the show proper. I think we may even just skip the theme song and just go straight into the movie watching itself. But yeah, we'll see what happens. So now, in the meantime, I will be doing the gradients on this stone giant type person. My take on the mythological Antaeus. Granted, the original Antaeus was not a stone giant. He was just a dude who got powerful by touching elemental earth. And he was a villain or antagonist against Hercules. Some versions of the story said he was a somewhat comical villain. Other ones said he was a usual, Greek mythology bastard who deserved to die, and I'm glad he's dead. But my version is he takes the ability to control the elements a little more extreme and creates himself this giant rockman form. But yeah, and I'm trying to get him ready for hopefully an art book I can get published before August. Hold on, let's see what we got here. I never heard of The Last Unicorn. When did you come across this film? Asks Doomzilla. It's a movie I've kind of heard about through a old book I had that was just a bunch of various movie listings. And they had a whole section dedicated to non-animated movies, that non-Disney related animated movies. And The Last Unicorn was among them. And I think that was my very first introduction to the film, and I really wanted to see it. And granted, this was the early 90s, so you have to remember they did not show The Last Unicorn regularly on television. My first time seeing it on television, however, was through the now defunct cable channel Showtime Beyond. And Showtime Beyond used to be like a really cool alternative to the Sci-Fi Channel, and when it started, it showed a lot of really neat and obscure movies. And The Last Unicorn was among them. I think I still have the original VHS tape that recorded the Showtime Beyond airings of The Last Unicorn. And if I can relocate that in my massive collection, which I am now finally starting to separate, I think I will post it on archive.org, because some of these television airings are big nostalgic things for me, and I think I would like to share them with you guys as well. Okay, so that's my introduction to The Last Unicorn. I discovered more about The Last Unicorn over time, but yeah, it is a part of the Rankin Bass fantasy films, and it might not be as well beloved as The Hobbit, but I think it's pretty damn close and second there. Now, to make sure I don't get distracted too much, I'm going to share the StreamYard link with Brayton so that when he comes aboard, we can hear him. Okay. There we go. So that way I don't have to constantly be looking at my messages to see if he comes aboard or not. All right, let's see. Hit to Laura. We weren't a Disney family, so it was a lot of Rats of Nims and Land Before Time. Yes, the Don Bluth alternatives. I grew up with those films as well, so they were just as well. Well, it's funny. They were as popular as Disney, but I think the real key to the success of Secret of Nim and Land Before Time and the Fievel movies was because they were more readily available, whereas Disney was constantly throwing things into the vault every 4 seconds. So yeah, I know those films were readily available. So, and I know we had an excommunicated aunt who had a lot of Disney films. But we rarely watched any of them, minus some of the major classics like Pinocchio and Sleeping Beauty. So, but let's see what else we got here. I like those two quite a bit more than the Disney films, Laura says Goji Shay. I had the soundtrack too because I loved Kansas so much as a kid. Oh, nice. True. Those are classics indeed. Okay, so yeah. So no, we're gonna see how Brayton reacts to the sad unicorn movie. Whoa. It's so sad, the unicorn movie where everything seems bad. Whoa. Seemed like they had off Disney animation in the public library. It's funny, in the late 80s and the early 90s, yeah, you could find all sorts of bizarre animated films from the public library. In fact, at the beginning of the pre-show entertainment, there was a documentary I played that a fan named Kaiser Beans made about the Unico movies. And yeah, that was my first introduction to Unico, although I may have seen it beforehand through the Disney Channel cables, when Disney Channel used to, be more movie friendly than it is now. How many times can you show the same Pixar movies over and over again, Disney Channel? So, okay, so it's just sad. It is sad, damn it. It is sad. I don't know how Brayton is going to react to it, because after talking with him on a drunken rampage last Friday, it seems that he thinks this tonight's movie is going to be like a My Little Pony jerk fest, for lack of a better term. And no, I think the movie is much more sophisticated for what it is. But I don't want to spoil it. And plus, Christopher Lee has a major role in it. Granted, he only shows up in the second half, but it's Christopher Lee. How can you not hate any movie with the good old Christie in it? So the Lee, as they would say. Goji says, I don't think I've seen All Dogs Go to Heaven yet. I don't remember. I've seen All Dogs Go to Heaven, but that was like decades ago when I was a little kid, back in the 1600s. So I honestly don't know if that movie holds up or not, although from what I understand, it was like the last big gasp of Don Bluth before, what's the movie about the Elvis chicken kind of ruined things for him. So, it's funny, I recommended to Brayton the possibility of doing an entire month of unicorn-based movies, because there's The Last Unicorn, there's the 2 Unico movies from Japan, there's Legend, which is a movie he has not seen, which I think might be a nice little Christmas film to watch. And I have not seen the definitive director's cuts of Blade Runner, which do feature unicorn symbolism. And there's probably some terrible low-budget unicorn movies, but it's funny, I don't think there's that many unicorn films out there. So, what? All Dogs is super sad. Rockadoodle isn't too bad. Okay, so, you guys are going to be defending animation a lot tonight. So, Doomzilla says, I remember seeing the entire shelf of non-Disney animated films in my public library. Legend counts as a unicorn movie. I did say Legend counts as a unicorn movie. It was one of the films I mentioned. So, although it tends to get ignored because, you have Tim Curry being his big, sexy demon self. Yes. Rub my giant prosthetic arms. That's Tim Curry from Legend. So, well, it's more like, hello, everybody. I can't do deep and scary Tim Curry. So it's a terrible impression, though. Not as bad as my David Bowie. Goji says, I think Don Bluth might have been involved with that one sci-fi animated movie, Titan A, back in 2000. Yes, he was. And that may have been the movie that killed his career, unfortunately. But then it also that movie definitely killed off any possibility of 20th Century Fox continuing animated movies, because it was very poorly received. And it's a shame, too, because I would like to see Don Bluth do another movie before it gets too old. I know he's been trying to get what is that? Dragon Lair movie off the ground for a long time, and even had a very successful Kickstarter, but that was years ago. And all that just to do a pitch film. But we'll see what happens. So, things are a little odd, and he's just getting a little old in age. But it is wonderful that Don Bluth has given us like a very good library of movies. Even his bad films can still be admired for having decent animation. So that's a shame too. I really wanted him to animate the Dirty McCorruption animated movie. like that's ever going to happen. So there's a lot of things that are never going to happen. Okay, so let's see. Goji says, I saw Titan AE once. I think it was on the Encore channels a while back. I thought it was actually pretty good for what it was. I've never seen Titan AE, so if it's readily available somewhere, I might check it out. And Laura says, I liked Anastasia movie. That was a lot of fun. Yeah, that's another one that if I can find it freely available somewhere, I might give it a try. So, but I'm not one much for the kind of cheesy 90s musicals. Like, believe it or not, I've not seen Lion King. I've only seen the first half of Hunchback of Notre Dame. I've never seen Pocahontas, nor do I have any real inkling to really do so. And although I've heard a lot of good things about both films, I've never seen Spirit or Prince of Egypt. So yeah, those are some major non-existent films in my filmography, so to speak. Okay, so, oopsie. Enter studio. I accidentally kicked myself out. Okay, you should still hear me, hopefully. Doomzilla loves Anastasia. Okay, that's nice to know. Alright. Okay, I'm back. Everything should be good. Alright, so... yeah, don't worry to anybody who's come on board. Know that I'm just doing a couple of FaceTime while I do artwork. Brayton will be coming along in hopefully 15 to 10 minutes. And we will pretty much kind of skip the opening musical number and just go right into the movie watching, although there'll be some pre-show thoughts. We're going to see how tonight goes. This might be a rainbow-colored poop show, all things considering. I like the movie. You guys like the movie. But we'll see what the Brayton has to say. Okay, so just stick to Princess Mononoke, Raph. That's Pocahontas done way better. Yes, but does it have "See how I glitter"? So, oh my goodness, I'm just being silly right now. So, okay. Boom. Yeah, but right now, just to let you know about my personal projects, I'm getting a kind of a kaiju art book / informative story thing. I don't know what to call it. Maybe a kaiju guide, I think is the best way to call it, featuring as many original characters as I can get illustrated before the year's over, because unfortunately I got tons of sketches and inks of original kaiju characters ready to go, but it's the text and the coloring that needs to be taken care of. And this slightly off version of Antaeus from Greek mythology, the stone giant I'm currently coloring, is going to be a part of that book. And I hope to get it done before August, because that's when I'm supposed to be making a bunch of appearances at conventions, among other things. And I do have something planned for April, hopefully one or more videos. But we'll see what happens. It's one of those things where I don't like to jinx it ahead of time. Let's see. Doomzilla says, Yoshe. Okay. Ah, sweet. He most definitely deserves it. Okay. Indeed. Okay, but yeah, guys, if you have any questions for me, go ahead and ask. I'm also finally getting my collection together and gathering a bunch of comics that I've done in the past, but I've never really had a chance to publish them. And looking through it, I can see why there's a lot of self-doubt about my own projects. I have 2 series that I could easily publish, but they need to be colored because black and white comics don't do well. We live in an age where coloring is much easier to do, especially through digital. These comics are already inked and lettered and ready to go. They just need to be colored and gotten ready for printing. Something my friend Mark Rivers will help me with, and that's another thing I hope to get done by August. The big problem, though, is that while one of the comics is very appealing, it takes its time to get from point A to point B, because it's more of a day-in-the-life adventure that, breathes. Kind of foolishly inspired by the way most mangas are set up. I should have never done that, but it's a fantasy adventure. And the other one is, unfortunately, glue. And that one has a very strong first 2 issues, but Glue being Glue, it's going to be a very, very hard sell. But we'll see what happens. But let's see. Goji Shea has a question. Okay, I got a question for you, Raffi, you fatty. What are you hoping to see in the upcoming Gamera anime series? I'm honestly hoping to see a good mix of new and old kaiju. Because as awesome as Gamera's Rogue Gallery is, and I'm glad they're kind of iconic in their own way, regardless of which ones are popular or not, it'd be nice to get a couple of new monsters alongside the old. Unfortunately, the appearance of Gauss kind of made my heart sunk a little bit, because no offense, Gauss is as common as the Putty is to Gamera as what the Putty Patrollers are to the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. And yeah, I know Gauss can be a very cool monster, and unless this is like a really neat standalone version of Gauss, I'm not too excited to see where that goes. The second thing I really want to see from the Gamera anime is I would honestly like to have it be more adventurous and exciting than either Singular Point or the Godzilla Planet of the Monsters anime trilogy. And I know it's the same staff and animators working on that worked on the Godzilla anime trilogy are working on the Gamera anime. Although they are free from Goro Ibuchi, who is basically overrated edgelord in my opinion. So hopefully they'll be able to actually do something fun with it. Although from what little we've seen of Gamera in the animation, I think it might be an animated continuation of that pilot film that was made back in 2016. But it could just be very similar iconography that's being reused. So yeah, I just want it to be a fun... And let me just alliterate. I really do like Singular Point. I think Singular Point is very, very charming. It's not exactly exciting, but when it does get exciting, it's very action-packed. It's just a very charming series filled with charming characters. I don't know what the hell they're saying half the time, but at the same time, I don't care because they're all such likable characters, and the monsters are unique enough. That keeps me engaged, too. On the other hand, though, it's a series that's better to binge after the fact than to try to watch week to week when it's like, oh, just something cool is just going to happen. Oh, wait, we got to wait till next week? Oh, crud. But yeah, I'm really hoping the Gamera anime gives Gamera another win, because he hasn't really had one since the Heisei trilogy. And it's a shame, too, because I honestly think Gamera the Brave is one of my all-time favorite movies, kaiju or otherwise, believe it or not. Laura says, think of the Gaio cereal tie-ins. No more Gaio cereals. I don't want any more Gaio cereal. You take that back to the kitchen. Ah. I want some Zigra tarts. I want like the most obscure Gamera villains imaginable to show up. And I'm not talking about Gara Sharp. I'm talking about Decorator Jim, the weird magical crab monster with a complicated name, Maro Caparapa, or whatever you call him. Crap, bring back some of the unused monster designs for the monsters that it's like, what is it? Iris had like a weird design where he looked like a cute puppy dog with a terrifying face. It's like, yeah, create some weird monsters based on that. I'd love to see that. What do you guys want to look forward to in the new Gamera movie? Comment and share, and I shall read. Okay. So yeah, we're going to be watching good old Professor Kaiju. Okay, yeah, that little thing. Professor gotta get the check. There's an Ultra 7 monster, a giant semi-mechanical octopus monster named Gaios. It's like Gyros, as the way his name is. But yeah, I'm surprised he hasn't sued Professor Kaiju. But then again, he's a giant robot octopus. And we haven't seen Professor Kaiju alive in ages. And last time we heard, he was fishing by the ocean. So who knows, maybe Gyros finally killed him for the Gaios. So, I'm going to take a quick drink. What's this? Clear America Strawberry. This is wonderful sparkling water from Walmart. They're our sponsor for tonight. Who needs Pepsi? Okay, Goji Shay says, I'd love to see Gara Sharp. Oh, hold on. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like Brayton's here. I'm going to go, okay, I'm going to mute and talk to him. And we'll see if we start the show immediately. But yeah, let's go into standby and mute and see what happens. So thank you, everybody. We will see you in a few minutes.